Now, the interesting thing about this is CGC already has graded these. Now, shouldn't that be a
But a
married
lot of people were
cover?
not able to get it. Eventually, there was only like one short box left of this book for a lot of people in line. And then Black Flag at that time decided to actually jack
They
their
took
pricing.
another cover, married it to it. The book has 4 states. I bet you if you let people know that a week in advance, then yeah, I probably would have been worried about selling it out too.
Quick response yesterday where it was basically just like, we know what we graded, we stand by it. And that didn't go over so well because it was basically...
Come out, wherever you are! The public wants to talk to y'all!
In order to understand what Black Flag actually did wrong, we will have to go back to the very core of this issue, which is the exclusive variant covers. For this case, we're going to be using Black Flag Comics exclusive variant cover for Ghost Rider #1 done by Clayton Crane. There are 2 stages for an exclusive variant cover. Stage 1 begins with Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics releases a newsletter to all retailers interested in an exclusive variant cover. This includes Black Flag Comics. Black Flag Comics will then email back Marvel Comics, letting them know that they would like Clayton Crane to do an exclusive variant cover. Then they will have a back and forth conversation on how to go about on doing an exclusive variant cover. Now, if you are an exclusive variant cover retailer, this will actually go faster because you are already on their list and they're familiar with your type of business. Marvel then would like to let all retailers know that they would like to facilitate the communication between artist and retailer. Unbeknownst to Marvel, Black Flag has already communicated with Clayton Crane, letting him know about the exclusive variant cover, giving him a head start, and settling his fees, which will then be facilitated by Marvel. After negotiations done between Black Flag and Clayton Crane will actually do a sketch concept for the exclusive variant cover. Once Black Flag actually approves this exclusive variant cover, only then will Clayton Crane would send this exclusive variant cover to Marvel Comics. Once sent to Marvel Comics will then send this exact same exclusive variant cover sketch to Black Flags, and they will have to do their Oscar-worthy performance of looking shockingly happy with it, which then they will move forward with the ink and color. This is when stage 2 begins. Stage 2 begins just as stage 1 begins with Marvel Comics. Now that everything is done, Marvel will make sure all the contracts are signed and ready for the printers. This is very important in order to move forward. Without any contracts being signed by Black Flag Comics, this variant cover will not. Marvel would then send an invoice to Black Flag Comics containing Clayton Crane's fee. The fee would then be paid by Black Flag Comics through Marvel Comics, and Marvel will then pay Clayton Crane. But remember, the fee has already been agreed upon. Black Flags will then receive these books to their preferred distribution channel, whether it's Diamond Comics or Penguin Random House. Once received, they will go through all these books, find out what are the damages, and report them back to Diamond Distribution. After this is done, pre-orders begin.
So this is getting out of hand so far. I mean, like, there's like new things that's been coming out. Marvel has come out with a statement, even though that statement that they came up with was already in the contract when you do an exclusive variant cover, telling the public this is basically what it says in the contract. Because essentially, when you get the contract, you can't tell people what's in the contract when you're signing it as a retailer. They released a section of the contract that states that you cannot manipulate, add, or do anything else with the cover besides from what you have agreed upon. That's in the contract, right?
It's more like what they agreed upon. It doesn't matter what you agreed upon.
Yeah, like there's no way that I could show you that agreement because it's confidential. Essentially, it says right there that
I think
this is
Marvel has in all rights to release whatever private information they want because it's
that's
only
up to them.
private.
I know that's up
them.
to them. But what I'm saying is that for a retailer like myself, I can't just release that contract and show everybody and be like, this is what the contract says. What I'm telling you is what the statement that they said that has already been in that contract and that barter agreement all along. It's always been there, but no retailer, including Black Flags, have ever bothered looking at the fucking fine print because who looks at the fine prints?
Also, who's really dumb enough to make a private contract with Marvel and not fully understand that after they got permission to do whatever they want with it afterwards? It's kind of like you rented out a car. You're not allowed to adjust the car as you see fit.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, you're not allowed to. Yeah, it's Rob Liefeld came out with it too as well. It's like the exact same way. You're not purchasing the character. You're not purchasing anything in that book. You're purchasing a licensing of that character so that you could produce your own exclusive variant cover, right? They're giving that's what your contract and that's what your barter agreement is. That's why it always says there that you cannot manipulate it or anything. That's their intellectual property. This is what the problem is with Black Flag. The problem with Black Flag is that they altered the book itself, right? Whether internally or externally, rather directly on the book itself or by putting an acetate cover on it. Right, that's one of the problems. Right, they went up against it. They thought they found a loophole because essentially the contract states that you cannot alter anything on this exclusive variant cover. Well, they didn't alter the exclusive variant cover.
Added on.
They added something on.
But that is a comical way of seeing it because additions to something is alterations.
Yeah. So now Marvel had to come out with a statement that what actually states on the contract, and then they said that we're gonna re-alter it so that you pretty much understand.
They're updating the language so that the layman can understand it better.
Yeah. So essentially, they're gonna update the contract itself, but in your contract it states that you cannot do that. But Black Flag was trying to be smart and they thought they found a loophole. Yes, Jason thought that he was being smart. It's like, well, I'm not altering the physical of it. It's already printed. I'm just altering it.
I'm working around it.
You're working around it. Like fucking Jason grew up in Miami. That's what happened, man. He fucking grew up in Miami. So he knew Miami shit. Like, how do you fucking like get around this shit, right? That's what he did, right? He knew what he was doing. That's number one. That's problem number one. He knew what he was doing, right? Another problem too as well is that he doesn't know how to market everything properly, right? He doesn't know how to market properly. You are stuck with all these books and you have no way of actually selling it. You didn't sell it when it first came out. Well, I mean, like you sold it, but you didn't promote it. You relied on Clayton Crane's name and you relied on the fact that people went to Black Flag. But what you didn't account for is the fact that nobody fucking cares about a fucking like book that was reprinted. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about a facsimile.
What I think they did, obviously, in this situation is that they burnt so many bridges with content creators now. You have to take into effect that this is a one-time deal. And even if their name is known by more people, no one's gonna try to push their books anymore.
What and then so many things that he did wrong. And what he did wrong too as well is that he literally took an old book and said, hey, it wasn't selling, so let's resell it. Not only that he put that fucking acetate in there, but he tripled the price for it.
At that point, it doesn't matter how many he sold. He already got what he wanted out of it.
No, but like look at it this way, Louis. You're very good at logistics, okay? If you didn't sell that much of that cover, right? You put an acetate on it. The acetate costs you money. So let's just say you sold it for $35. right? It already created a hype in there that people wanted to get it because it's an acetate, but you got greedy. That's the thing. And here's the thing too. He was making that video, and he was just ranting about how much money that he spends, right? He was like, I have so much on this book. I did all this, blah, 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 and like I spent so much money. You know what? Let's fucking talk about like how much money did he actually spend. Like, do you remember when we did the exclusive variant cover for The Walking Dead, the 30th anniversary? Do you remember that,
Right.
Louis? Okay, so remember, we had to meet a minimum order quantity, which is MOQ. We had to meet a price per book. We had to agree on the price per book, how much they were selling it for. There's shipping that we have to take care of because we're going through Diamond. We have to take care of an artist fee. Apparently, there's an artist fee. Well, actually, no.
For that one, no. For that
No,
one,
that one,
it
that
was
one,
a digital stamping.
Yeah, that one didn't have
that
an
one
artist
you can
fee.
skip
But
the artist fee.
Yeah, but there is an artist fee, and then you have to take care of a plate change, and then we didn't have a COA, but you have to take care of a COA. These are the things that you have to account for. Okay, let's talk about the minimum order quantity. They need 3,000 copies.
Was
right?
it?
Yeah,
I
dress
can't remember.
variant.
It was 5.
A dress variant requires a 3,000 quantities in order for you to qualify for an exclusive variant cover. A virgin variant cover, if you want to, is 1,000 quantities. But
I thought they raised it to 1,500.
No, it's 1,000. Now, but in order for you to actually hit that 1,000 virgin variant cover, you have to agree on the 3,000. So it's like the most weirdest contract that you will ever get, because they're not giving you the option of like 500 quantities and say, well, if you hit 3,000 on the dress variants, guess what? You can do a virgin variant. They're like, no, you have to take the 3,000, and then you have an option to take the virgin variant for 1,000. You know how much these things cost, right? Do you know how much the price per book costs?
Am I just doing the book?
Yeah, just the dress variant. So let's just do the dress variant, because that's what Black Flag did. The dress variant. The book itself is $3.99, right?
Yeah.
So basically, based on your
$2.
So you pay about $2.50. So what's $2.50 times by 3,000? Louis, you're my Rain Man.
Oh yeah. 7,500.
7,000. Damn, $7,500. So it cost Jason $7,500 already, right? Now this is not gonna come by just FedEx and just like, oh, here's your box. No, that's not just gonna come by FedEx. It's gonna come in a fucking pallet. You have to pay for a pallet, Louis. Do you remember how much a pallet costs sometimes?
So this is pre-2019.
Yeah.
Not a clue. Everything's like quadrupled.
So tack in another $200 in there for the pallet. Let's be a little bit more conservative in there, and then just say pack in another $200 in there. So 2,500 plus $200. Yeah, 7,700. Okay. So there's also an artist fee there too as well. So artist fee, Clay & Crane. They're not gonna charge them $2,500. Probably gonna charge you minimum $1,200. How much are we at right now?
8,900.
$8,900. Okay, so now you're down $8,000. And then there's plate change.
I would say you're down $9,000. You're only 100 short.
$9,000. So there you go, $9,000. And then there's a plate change. Plate change, essentially, most people don't know what plate change are, but for the retailers that does exclusive variants, is essentially that metal thing that goes in the machine and that presses on the paper and it prints. That's what it is. That's the simplest I can tell you. The plate change is $500. Okay. So what are we right now total?
$9,400.
$9,400. So right now we're at $9,000, right? Without tax. Without tax yet, right?
9,400.
9,400 without tax. Now here is when you do really. This is when you excel in math, Louis. Let's just say Jason's in Florida, and the tax there is 7% where he's at, right?
Sure.
So tacking 7% tax in that.
10,000. Dang it. $358. Damn it. You made me lost. Like my brain just shut down after you said that.
$10,300. So we're at $3,300 right now. So Jason is currently down $3,300. Okay.
10,000.
10,000.
You said 3.
I said 3. I'm sorry. 10,000. He's down $10,300.
$58.
There you go. So now that's his investment on this exclusive variant cover for Facsimile, right? That doesn't include what people are yelling and screaming about, which are the paid sites and influencers. Okay. This is where it becomes weird because I know like influencers get blamed for it, and for some reason I don't know why, right?
It's basically the same reason why the president of the United States gets blamed for everything is because he's the most public figure.
Yeah. Oh wait, I forgot about the bagging boards. So now we got to get the bagging boards first, right? The bagging boards. Actually, no, we can't because the COA and the bagging boards they're kind of interconnected. Okay. So now you're gonna have to think some way. How are you going to market and promote this book, right? And the first thing that you think about is use the influencers and paid sites. Now, here's what I will tell you. Did you know, Lewis, that this book did not hit the public until the day of its release and the day of C2E2?
Okay. So,
and it was on the top 10 of a certain site. So I'm not going to say who the certain site is. I don't have really good relations with that site anyways, but I'm going to expose on the fact that I can tell you this right now. When you, the public, saw this book on the top 10 list and it was number 2, there's a reason why it's on number 2 on the day it's released. And no one's ever going to talk about this, but this is actually true. And Lewis can back me up on this because it has happened to us. Those sites are paid. They pay sites to put their book in the top 10 lists. How do I know this? Is because we did partner up with a certain site to actually put out a marketing and press release for our exclusive when we did an exclusive with Marvel for X Factor, right? It was out there, we paid them, and it was continuously at their main story. To be in the top 10, you have to pay a certain amount. You're looking at, depending on the site itself, you're probably going to pay about $150 to put it on the top 10 list, right? So you got to pay a site to hype up the book. So now everybody has actually gone to these sites and actually hyped up the book and they said, this is a hot book, it's top 10, or whatever. Let's just say, and let's be conservative at this, Lewis. Let's just say they went to 5 sites and paid $100 for each site. So tacking another $500 from that
$10,858.
So $10,800. So now he's down $10,800. Okay. Now you're probably going to pause the video at this and try to see if this is actually true. This is actually true. The sites that you guys are actually looking at, every site that has top 10 and top 5, they are paid for. Retailers have paid for them to put their exclusive variant cover up there. Okay. And this is the honest truth. Okay. Influencers, on the other hand, okay, they also either get paid or you actually exchange the book with them. Okay. So essentially, we have dealt with this too as well. We have gone through I have gone through some influencers before to actually pump up the book, right? Most notably, I did one for Power Rangers, and I did one for my X Factor too as well. Did that come up with anything? No, man. That's money down the drain. And each influencers do get paid for them. If they do get paid, they're either going to say, pay me my full price or exchange some or give me some free books. That's the way it works, right? So these influencers that you guys are mad about, they either got paid for them or they got free stuff. Now, should you be mad at those influencers? No, you're an influencer.
They're getting paid to do a job.
Yeah, you became an influencer because you want to get free shit. That's the thing.
And you want to make money to make content.
Yeah, you essentially, Kevin Smith said it best. Find out what you're good at.
And don't do it for free.
And get paid for it. That's the thing. And these influencers are good at garnering followers, garnering customers, and you want a piece of those customers that they have, right? So you as a retailer have to give them free shit, right?
You have to pay for their services.
You have to pay for their services because that shit ain't free, man. That
It's
takes
not
a lot
even
of work.
free for them.
Yeah, it's not even free for them. Okay, so for you people to be mad at influencers is pretty much dumb, because the people that you guys are watching right now, including me and Lewis, like me and Lewis, we do this because we are, and Lewis is too as well, very much so, right? We're on Spotify right now. Yes, we're getting a lot of listeners, but we have to hit a certain tier to actually get paid a certain amount of money, right? That's why we're doing this. Okay, I get a cut, Lewis gets a cut. That's
I haven't seen anything.
Right?
Red Bull, if you want to sponsor, I'd still do it for free. Just send me 1 case of Red Bull once a month. That's all I ask for.
Yeah. So Lewis and I are doing this because we're gonna get money out of this. Okay. You cannot get mad at influencers when that's what they're trying to do too as well. What you can get mad is the fact that Black Flag actually gave them their books on C2E2 and let you see it. Like that, you should get mad at. That's bad practice. That's Black Flag's fucking fault, right? So
normally, even if you are holding for somebody, you always ask them to politely, come pick it up towards the end of the con.
So now let's go back and see how much Jason has spent already. Where are we right now? 10,900, I think it was.
$10,858.
$10,858. Okay. Now let's get to the bagging boards. Now he has to bag and board these books. You're gonna spend money on those. Okay. The initial run for this book was how much? Do you remember?
The initial costs?
No, the initial run. They limited to like a certain amount.
I think you said 750 to 800.
So the initial run for the book with the acetate, they said it's only limited to 750 books. That's what they said, 750. But the initial run for when they actually did the Ultimate Fallout facsimile, it wasn't 750 copies.
True.
It wasn't. It also wasn't 3,000. That's for sure. If my memory serves right, maybe, I'm not quite sure. Okay, I believe it only came with 800 copies, limited. Right? Because they have to create hype on it somehow, and then we're gonna touch on that too as well. But the initial one was only 800 copies. Right? They ordered 3,000. And they said they limited to 800 copies. So now you got to get COAs, 800 COAs. And then you got to get bagging boards too as well. You got to bagging boards too as well. And that's going to be another pallet. And let's just say the pallet is not as much. They're not going to charge you as much pallet. Instead of $500, they're going to tack in instead of $200, they'll just probably charge you $150 for the pallet or for bagging boards. So tack in another $150 for bagging boards in that, Lewis.
$11,102.
$11,000 right now.
Yeah, just say 11,000.
Yeah, he's at $11,000 right now because he has to get the bag and boards for these books too as well. Okay, now the COAs itself, right? The COAs, he has to get the COAs. The COA for 500 copies, you're looking at about $6 to $8.
You said right? $6 to $8 or $68?
$68. About $6 to $8. At least from my printers.
Okay, like let's just say 70. So that's another $350.
So another $3 on top of the 11 grand that he already spent.
So 11 $450.
So you're looking at $11,400 already for COAs, and then bag and boards included too as well. Okay, COAs and bag and boards. So that's his initial investment. So let's just say that he did give out the free stuff to influencers. Let's just say 500. He reserved 500 copies for influencers, right? And then divide it amongst them. So 500 copies.
Okay,
right?
so 500 copies
at $2.50 a piece.
1,250.
Tack that into the spending, because you got to spend. That's free copies that you're giving out. So tack that into 11,400.
11,400. So that's gonna be another 12,600. No, it's gonna be $12,000 and $12,700. My God, my brain.
So now he's at $12,700 spent. 12,000. What is it again?
12,700.
$12,700 is Jason's initial spending. So that rant that he said,
that's basically fudging the numbers in his favor.
Yeah. $12,700 that he's down already, and that is what Jason was ranting about on the video, trying to make a case on this controversy on Facebook that he recently took down. Okay, 12,700. Now he has to make that money back somehow. Okay, in order to make your money back, you have to spend. You have to have something called an IPO. Right? An IPO is exactly what you think it is. It's the exact same terminology and exact same acronym in Wall Street. It's the initial public offer. The initial public offer is essentially the price of the book. The initial price of the book. Okay? The average price and the most common price that retailers use for this book is $25. Okay, $25 per book, just variant. If you want if they did a version, it would have been like something else. But again, we're doing the ultimate Fallout right now. Okay, so $25. Now, what do you think is the main focus for the first week of pre-orders, Lewis? What do you think is his first focus?
His initial investment.
His initial investment. He needs to get the initial investment back. Before you can make any revenue, you have to get your initial investment back, right?
Otherwise, you'll just be in debt.
Yeah. So your first week, you have to get 50% of it back. It's our first 2 weeks. Guess what your focus is in the first 3 weeks? Remember, this is a month before the release of the book. Then the next 3 and 4th week, what is your main focus? What do you think, Lewis?
Profit?
No. Get the other 50% back. You need all 100% of your investment back in 1 month. That is the life of an exclusive variant cover, because it's all about hype. You're riding on the marketing hype from Marvel, your influencers have created, the website putting you in the top 10 list, all those free books, everything. You have to write those hype that they're creating for you to get 100% of your money back within the first month. Okay? Now, what ended up happening, Lewis, is this. There's a reason why he did an acetate cover, because guess what happened? He didn't actually make his money back. Now, what is the most conservative price that we can think of that he probably got from that $12,800?
Seeing how desperate he was, he probably only made $4,000.
He probably made $4,000. And how many copies is that sold?
160 copies.
So he probably sold 160 copies. So Jason sold 160 copies of this book at $25 a piece. That's the most conservative number that we can think of, based on how desperate he is to get rid of these books by putting an acetate cover and selling it for $86 a piece. Okay? So he didn't get that much money. He didn't sell that much, right? He only made $4,000. That's all he did. And here's another thing that I haven't tacked on.
What year was this when he first made this?
November 2021.
No. That's weird. That should have been very popular.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I didn't tack on as a spending, his CGC.
Yeah.
His CGC. He still had to
go get CGC.
He still had to get it CGC and sell it on his site for CGC. And chances are he's selling it for $105, $100 a piece. Because CGC, I'll tell you about the pricing of CGC later on, but CGC now. But that's basically how much.
We don't know how many he actually CGC'd.
Yeah, we don't know how much he actually CGC'd.
We would have to actually Google search into the CGC website.
The census.
And then see how much the census of how much they were graded in the population.
Well, it's too late now because there's going to be a lot that's got CGC, not the initial CGC.
Yeah, so no, I think they're date stamped.
Yeah. So, we can take a look at it later.
That's too much research. It's beyond us. Let's go. Let's live with it now.
Now we're going to have to go through the week of the release. Because essentially, you're probably thinking to yourself, I'm like, okay, well, it takes a whole month to actually get this book advertised, pre-orders and everything, get your money back. What do you do after that, right? So now you have the week of the release. The week of the release is all about FOMO. That's all it is. You know that, right? It's all
copies
it's all about
are
FOMO.
super limited. We're running out super quickly. Supplies are dwindling and we're sold out.
Look how awesome this looks. That kind of stuff, right?
Only 20% is going to be sold on the website. The rest are at cons.
Yeah, at cons and this and blah blah blah. And then
we're taking out into the road, boys.
Yeah, and then we're taking out the road, boys. That's like the most common one. We're taking it to the road, boys.
Beep, beep.
And then what they're gonna do too as well is that they would ask people, if they can, to actually post about the book when they get it. So all the pre-orders, all those people get their books first. They're gonna post about it on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. Black Flag exclusive, blah blah blah. And then what they're gonna do is that they're gonna post and repost all those posts. So it needs to create that hype that you're missing out on something, man. Get this now, right? And
Don't
know what's
be the one that waits the last minute.
Yeah. Now, what's gonna happen is two things, right? During this week, they're either going to lower the price of the book, or they'll keep it the same. And this is how you can determine whether your retailer has made the money or they didn't. Okay? If they kept the price the same way, the exact same IPO, if they kept it the exact same IPO at $25 a piece, they didn't make their money yet. If they lower down the price to say the most common denominator is 15 or $20,
they definitely didn't sell jack shit.
They've already made their money back.
I don't think so.
No, they already made their money back. Here's what you can tell between the 15 and the 20. The 20 is that we made some money back, but we need more, right? We need just a little bit more. 15, I need to get rid of this shit. I got my money back. I don't need it anymore. Everything is just profit now.
There is the fun thing where they go up to 50 and they actually sold out.
Yeah.
Basically all of it.
Yeah. So it's the retailer has to determine whether do I sell it at 20 because I'm about this close to making profit, or I made profit, but I need a little bit more profit, or I made profit. I made everything. I have so much money already. I just want to get rid of the book. Here's the book for $15.
It's taking warehouse space where I can add new shit.
Exactly.
Don't even make me look at it anymore.
Exactly. This book, based on my research and what I looked at, and it's been taken down now, it was selling for $25 up until to C2E2. They didn't make their fucking money back on this at all. They never made their money back, right? So now they have to. Now, if you're the retailer, Lewis, now you're gonna have to think, how am I gonna get my money back on this, right? I can tell you right now, I've spoken to a lot of retailers, and I spoke to a lot of artists too as well. The first thing they tell me, they don't want to touch this issue with a 10-foot pole. That's first. That's number one, right? They don't want to touch this.
Negative karma.
So they don't want to touch this issue with a 10-foot pole at all, right? They never made their money back at all whatsoever on this. So as a retailer, you got to think, how am I going to sell these copies? The first thing that you think about is, I got to sell this in bulk, right? I got to sell this in bulk and give it to someone else, right? Let it be their problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, let it there be, like, this is not my problem. Let it be their problem.
Yeah, you want to pass along the expenses.
Yeah. But as mentioned earlier, Jason went and became creative. And he said, what if I just put an acetate cover in this and charge triple the price and make it in C2E2 exclusive variants?
You know what's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the non-acetate version be more rare?
No, because it wasn't exclusive. You have to make a certain.
But it was. It was a Black Flag exclusive.
No. But you have to make it an exclusive to the con so that you can sell. So you can sell it more. Because remember, con prices are a lot more expensive. So you gotta have to sell it a little bit more, right? The funny thing is this: if Jason would have just said, hey, we want to make this a con exclusive, right? We sold it in November, right? We're not going to sell it on the site anymore. We're going to make this a con exclusive. We're going to speak with C2E2 and put that fucking label that says C2E2 exclusive.
They would have to go through Marvel first to ask for permission to re-alter.
Here's the thing. They could have gone to Marvel and do that. That's no problem. They could have gone to Marvel and said, we want to put an acetate on it and sell it as a C2E2 exclusive and then put that logo in it.
All they have to do is probably pay a very minimal fee for alteration.
You are fucking 100% right. It says on your contract there, on your barter agreement, that you cannot alter, yes, after it's done.
Without permission.
But anything else, you have to clear it with Marvel first. All this shit happened just because
they didn't do their due diligence.
Just because Jason didn't fucking read the contract nor ask Marvel. They could have asked Marvel. And they would have tacked in a C2E2 exclusive on the acetate itself. And it would have been fine. It would have been fucking fine. But he never did it. So now we're in this debacle where he's like, I'm just going to do it myself. Put 2 more staples in there and sell it for $89. He got fucking greedy. And that's what happens. Now here's the thing.
If this ends up being a Florida Man newscast of anything, I'd be very disappointed that it's not funny.
I know.
It's like, oh, Florida Man, what did he do? He altered a comic book. That is the dumbest Florida Man ever. He didn't even get creative. I'm gonna tell him how get me a gator. I'm gonna rob me a liquor store.
He gave
Florida Man a bad name.
Can you imagine Florida Man is like, wait a minute, he can't out stupid me. So here's what I can tell you too as well. So far, what we've been talking about is how this book was being sold to the public, how much investment that he has, that Jason has invested on this book, how much money he has spent, right? So far. And that's what we talked about. And this is just the initial run back in November or September of this book. This is just the initial run. He's down a lot of money. He's down like 11 grand right now. Okay. He has to make his money back from this somehow.
If the shop was in Florida, he would have been down 1 month's rent.
Somehow he needs to get his money back. And you know what he did, unbeknownst to everybody else? Jason didn't lose as much money as we make it seem to be, because there is a common practice within the retailers of exclusive variant covers, and the only way that you're gonna know is if you are part of this whole organization of retailers, and that's bulk purchases. This is the biggest deception that exclusive variant retailers do, and the common public don't know about it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then